She's 83 years old and has been a registered voter since 1958. She's lived in the same house in Fords, New Jersey for 60 years. A mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4, she has pictures of her family lining the walls of her home. Lots of pictures. Her name is Shay Kless, but everyone knows her as Bubbie. Today, November 8th, 2016, the first female presidential candidate was on the ballot. I sat down with Bubbie today to hear her thoughts on this historic day, and this is what she said. So, it is November 8th, 2016, and we are in the process of electing the 45th President of the United States. So this is a pretty historic day for America.
Right.
Now, you first registered to vote in 1958. So that was 58 years ago. So what did that make you, like 24, 25 years old?
I was born in 32, so in 58 I was how old? 26.
Okay. And do you remember what it felt like at all when you first registered to vote?
Well, what I have to say, if I may, the importance of vote, it was always important to vote, but it was not targeted the way it is now. People were not into it the way they are now, and women were not either.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, to me, and we were not a really politically involved family. So it was, to me, very exciting.
Again, you registered 58 years ago, so I'll jog your memory a bit with a couple of things that happened in 1958.
Okay.
All right. So in 1958, the hula hoop was invented, and more than 100 million are sold.
And you know what? I was never able to master the hula hoop.
That's all right. Me neither. So it must run in the family. Elvis was inducted into the Army, drafted into the Army. Ted Williams signed with the Boston Red Sox for $135,000, making him the highest paid player in baseball. But the Yankees won the 55th World Series that year. In 1958, Ruth Carroll Taylor was the first African-American woman hired as a flight attendant. In 1958, President Eisenhower signed a bill approving Alaskan statehood, although they officially were proclaimed a state in 1959. A U.S. federal judge ruled that race segregation must end within 2.5 years in Little Rock, Arkansas. And a U.S. court ruled that poet Ezra Pound was to be released from an insane asylum.
Oh, gosh.
So a couple of random but significant events that happened in 1958, so it's crazy to see how far we've come since then.
Yes, it is crazy to see that. And it's crazy to think that we were back there and thought those thoughts back then.
It is, I agree. And so despite all of that progress that we have made, we still as a society face issues regarding things like race, like the Black Lives Matter movement, and
Right.
even in regards to Ezra Pound, how we deal with mental health and how we treat it and the stigma surrounding it. So what do you think are some of the biggest issues that face America during this year's election?
This year's election, it's still race. It really is still race, unfortunately. And equality for people, equality for women. That's still in the shadows. I wouldn't vote for, say, Hillary Clinton or whoever simply because she was a woman. She would have to have the right credentials, the right outlook on things and all. But I think that a woman would be great, but I think a man would be great too. It would depend on the candidate.
Finally, if you could give a message to, let's say, your great-great-great-granddaughter about being a female in today's world, what would you say to her?
I would say, go for it, baby. This is your time. Show the men how smart we are. Show them how much responsibility we can take, because we can. Show them how much good judgment we have.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say.
All right, cool. So are you ready to go vote?
I sure am. This was a wonderful experience.
Let's go rock the vote, baby.
All right, Bub.
You guys coming over like this.
And so we race over to my dad's old elementary school so that Bubbie could vote in the 2016 presidential election. She even gave us her own rendition of God Bless America on the way out.
God bless America.